Mr. Paulo. It is good to see you, brother.
Hey, likewise, man. Always good to see you, bro.
How's the fam?
Everybody's good, man. I can't complain. I got a son now, so I can't take the smile off my face, man. We got 4 girls and a boy now.
I'm so
You
happy
know,
you got that boy on the last one. I don't know, but you could be no good with that.
man, it changed my life, man.
Having a son, it changes the dynamic and the energy and the vibration in your property.
Absolutely. You ain't lying about that, man.
He's like, it's all about me. And rightfully so.
Yep.
A lot of females around.
hmm
So,
Yeah, man. I love him, man. I can't wait until, he's still at the baby phase. So, I mean, 2 months old,
yeah,
2.5 months old.
he just
He's,
trying to make
he get about one. I told my wife I'm taking over.
it. What's going on, Roundup homies? Happy holidays to you. Today is the start of my Black Friday block party. I got all my homies coming on, starting it out with Jamel. I am Chris Haskins. I am. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. In doing so, I get to hang out with the top, not only real estate investors, but the people that have actually opened their mouth. Jay, a lot of people do this business and they don't want to share the secrets. Do you run across that too?
Yeah, a lot.
I had a guy call me from my channel. He goes, "Man, what are you doing? Why are you
hmm
giving all these secrets away?"
Yeah, that's a problem when people have that type of mindset. In my opinion, man, I think that you should be sharing what you do. I think if everybody was in a financially stable position, um, things would be a lot easier for everybody else. But unfortunately, we got that 90-10 club thing going on. You know,
Hmm.
so it is what it is.
Well, I'm glad you decided to share. And Jamel, y'all, is definitely a member of the 10%. I would argue to say the 5%. Man, Jamel's been doing this forever, training forever, and I'm just honored that I've met him through my travels and just going to a million courses and trainings and seminars. Jamel Gibbs, what up, homie?
What up, man? What's going on?
So we're talking about partnerships today, and I
Yes,
know for
sir.
me, I love partnerships.
hmm
I know a lot of people say the only ships that fail are partnerships. I can't stand that saying.
Yeah. Why do you say that though?
Why do I say I can't stand it?
hmm
Because I feel like it's a fear mindset. It's a losing mentality. It's a
Yep.
defeatist mentality. And I don't know about you, but I have lost doing partnerships. And I thought
hmm
I had that little only ship that fails is partnership in my head, and I'm like, you know what? Then I finally learned how to partnership strategically.
That's right.
I think is the key.
Yeah, I think having partners in your business, strategic partners in your business is uh, for me. I've made a ton of money just having strategic partnerships over the years, man. So I think if you're not partnering on deals, you're basically missing out. And if you're trying to do everything yourself, you're missing out, and that's basically what it is. You know
Yeah, Ron LeGrand taught me. I'll never forget when he said, "Chris, I don't even go to my rehabs anymore.
why?
They can do it better than me. Every time I get there, I just mess it up, and I just try to change things, so I don't even go.
Yeah,
They can
that's
do it."
right, man.
When he told me that, Jay, I'm like, you know what, man? Let me reevaluate the. If you want it done, do what you say. I'm like, that is so employee
Yep,
mindset.
it is, man. It really is. It took me some time to catch on to that myself, to be honest with you, man. It honestly took me probably a good first 5 years of my business um to really catch on to that. Stop doing everything yourself. And then once I made that transition over, man, things just really took off for me. I did well my first 5 years though, but and that was because a lot of it wasn't like and you know this, it wasn't like today where everybody's a real estate investor. Where when we started, honestly, there was really no competition, very little competition.
Few
So
guys,
it was different. You know what I mean?
few guys around. Yeah, I could see. Jamel, I think a lot of people are going to disappear over the next 2 years, brother.
I think so too, because they don't understand the dynamic of what's happening in the market. But I also, people. say that there's going to be a crash. If we look at some numbers, some real hardcore numbers, man. I was looking at something today, as a matter of fact. Uh, I don't think there's going to be a crash. I think there's going to be a softening of the market. It is definitely going to be a buyer's market, um, but it's just not. I don't think there's going to be. If you're waiting for a crash, don't hold your breath. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I was looking at some numbers earlier today. Let me see if I can pull these numbers up, if I can find them. Long story short, there's too many mortgages. I think they said 40% of the United States, the properties in the United States are free and clear, right? You got another 25% of the people that bought, you know, over the last 10 years have less than 3% interest rate on their property. And then you also have another 25% or so with less than 4%. So if you do the math, really people are going to hoard properties now. Plus, with rising rents, it makes sense that the market is not going to soften up. It's not. This is not 2008, where you had a bunch of properties over leveraged. We got free and clear properties and low interest right now. So it really, there's no way. I can't really see the market crashing like everybody's talking about. What I see is a softening of the market, and the difference between this market and that market is you have a lot of buyers with really good credit these days as well, because we just came out of a financial, we were doing really well financially. A lot of people
Mhm.
built up their credit over the years. So just two different dynamics.
Mhm.
And I think that buyers are going to be more picky because they have the credit, and there's a lot of people with capital, right? A lot of people made a lot of money over the last, 10 years or so. Um, So they're going to be picky. The interest rates are really high. But then on the flip side of that, you also have a bunch of property owners that really don't have to sell. They're going to hoard properties, if you ask me. So, I mean, how do you feel about that, man?
Rightfully so. Vincent, what up, man? One of my members here. Thank you, Vincent, for support. My thing is rightfully so. I'm spending half a milli. Why can't I be picky? I'm like before
Yeah.
it was like I'm spending half a million and you better shut the hell up and take what the hell out, right?
Yep.
I'm like,
That's right,
I'm
man.
spending half a milli, dog. What do you and you gonna get I know people that spent the half a mil and had to put 100 in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not doing that, man.
That's crazy, man. No, that's us overpaying. Now, those people, to be honest with you, man, because of the softening of the market, those people that are that have overpaid over the last, during the pandemic, is overpaid for properties. And that's another thing, not to bounce around all over the place, but we saw what, a 40% increase in pricing over the last 2 years, right?
Wow.
Home values have literally doubled. When the market softens, we might lose 15 to 20% of that, right? Which is still leaving you in a positive from when you started, but it's not as aggressive as it was. And it depends on the market. Real estate is very local. So it
Yeah.
just depends on where we are market wise, right? But, you know, um, those people that overpaid over the last year and then put another 100 grand into it, like you said, man, those are the people that are going to be selling,
Yeah.
and they're going to lose their shirts. But I can't see there being this big tsunami of foreclosures and things like everybody's talking about. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm just looking at the numbers and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Mhm.
Everybody on YouTube is talking about, there's going to be a market crash. I don't, I don't subscribe to that, man. Not yet.
I think
You
there's a
know,
lot of people trying to get views. The
that's
crash is
all
a
it is.
highly searched term.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. I should do a video on that and talk about why it's not going to crash.
Yeah. So Jamel, listen, we're starting the Black Friday. We're starting with you for the Black Friday
I feel
block
special,
party.
man. I feel special. You starting with me, bro.
Thank you. It's an honor, man. Y'all, I don't think y'all understand this man's capability and his backstory, the road behind you. The man has done I don't know how many deals. He's got his own software, just training and coaching, and you're building rental property to rent
Mhm.
now, right?
Yeah, so we're building to rent now. Um, that's kind of the dynamic of my business at this point, man. That's basically what we're doing. Obviously, we do creative finance, we do everything, but that's really the dynamic of what I'm building. And yeah, I don't see an end in sight. As long as there's land, I'm going to be building.
Okay. So you came up with, I mean, you do everything, but this particular strategy we're talking about tonight kind of skews for the new investor per se.
It is, and I do a lot of it as well. In fact, we made a ton of money over the pandemic using this one strategy, and either we do it on the sell side or the buy side, right? So,
Okay.
I'll give you an example. I had one person who's made easily, she's made six figures with us over the last couple of years just selling our stuff,
Wow.
and it saves me a ton of time. Um, because I don't have to go out and do the other half of the business. So a lot of people, if you don't have, and this is cliche, but let's be real, if you don't have money, you don't have credit, you hear it all the time, right? I'm not here to sell you the cliche stuff, but I'm here to tell you that this is probably the best way to enter the business if you're too lazy to find deals,
Or
which
don't know how.
or don't know how to find deals, right? You can position yourself as um and if you were a realtor, they will call you a buyer's broker. Okay, so rather than being a buyer's broker, you're a you're going to focus your attention on finding your buyers, and then go out and find the inventory from people who go out there and can't sell their inventory, right?
Mhm.
So all you're really doing is building a buyer's list, and then a buyer's market, which we're heading into. And my rule of thumb is, Chris, I think this is the best strategy for somebody just getting started in this market. I was teaching this, you know, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, when we were in a buyer's market then. But everything, a real estate market cycle, right? So when you're in a buyer's market, focus on finding your buyers first. When you're in a seller's market, find a deal first,
Mhm.
right? In this market that we're heading into, and we're kind of in that market already, you could kind of see it. I think by February, we're really going to feel it. Um, find your buyers, start building up your buyer relationships now. And there's four things that you really want to know as you meet these buyers,
Okay.
right? So you need to know what they're currently buying, not what they were buying 6 months ago. So what have you recently closed on? Uh, what type of property did you recently purchase? How much was that property and other properties just like it? And how quickly can you close? Four things. If you have that information, you can literally take that information and go out and contact every wholesaler in your market. And once you contact every wholesaler, let them know what your criteria is, which is your buyer's criteria. And let them know, look, I have a buyer's list. I have buyers looking for properties. If you got anything, let me know. And we'll go ahead and see if we could make some money together. So rather than spending a whole bunch of money on marketing, rather than uh, talking to 2,000 sellers to get a deal, rather than um, going through all the hoops and all of the other things that you have to do as a wholesaler, which wholesaling is a whole nother business, which I think is great, but we're talking about this right now. Focus on the buyers end of it, and then position yourself as the guy with all the buyers or the girl with all the buyers in your market,
Mm.
and do what you say you're going to do. Close the deals, right? Find the buyers and close. If you can perform, you gain people's respect. And when you gain people's respect, guess what happens? They want to do more business with you, which means more money in your pockets at the end of the
Wow.
day. What do you think, man?
Yeah, that's interesting that you brought that up. I'm just thinking back. I probably this year. You said six figures. I can't even recall how much money I've given away to other wholesalers that sold our stuff because I'm like the lazy. I never forget Ron LeGrand. I'm just too old and lazy. I'm like I keep hearing that in my mind. I'm like, find a buyer. I got so much other stuff to do. It's gonna cost me 5 grand, all right, or whatever, 8 grand. I mean, I paid 12, 15,
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. But again, you know, for the brand new investor right now, um, Look, I'm a family man. My daughter's right here crying. You hear her?
I thought that was okay. Hey man, bring it on. My thing is we need more black families, man, on the internet. So I'm
Absolutely,
good with
man.
that.
But at the end of the day, you know, for everybody listening, if you're brand new, if you haven't done anything yet, um, and you don't have a lot of capital, because I'm not a cookie cutter type of guy. Even when I'm doing coaching, I don't cookie cut the coaching, because
Tell
everybody's
them why more.
circumstances are different, right?
Stay there for a minute, Jay, because people are like, man, what is your system? Just give me what how do I do boom boom boom?
Okay.
I mean, everybody thinks that you could just plug them into. I don't want to say everybody, but I get a lot of calls too. People are like, how do I do this, and this? And I'm like, we got to peel back the layers first to see what's going on with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't believe in cookie cutter approaches. And a home study training can be that, but you really have to, it depends on what your mindset is towards a home study training, right? So a home study course to me is to provide you with the information that you need. It can take a step-by-step approach, and you got to adapt it. But for coaching, I think that honestly, I don't believe in taking a cookie cutter approach, because everybody's circumstances, everybody's market, everybody's finances, everybody's everything is, you're completely different than me, right? So we have to look at what your situation is and what you can do. Even I was talking to somebody earlier today. She said, what's the success rate for uh you know a potential client? I said everybody's different. I got one student that's doing over $1 million this year. Well, two students doing over $1 million this year. But then I might have another one that did 50,000, because their circumstances were different. The market is different. The resources are different, right? So,
Mentality.
but with this, you can kind of rinse and repeat a cookie cutter approach,
That's cool.
right? You can. And the reason for that is because your attention is on buyers rather than um, market conditions and finding the right deals and making the right offers and all this other stuff that goes into making money in real estate, right? So, but when you focus on the buyers and your buyers want deals, then you're going to make money as long as you're presented with the right properties from the people that you're doing business with, you
That's
know?
cool. So tell us about how. So this is Jamel's giving us his first deal. He's giving us 80% off of this thing. If anybody doesn't want to wait, the link's in the video description. But he's going to be going over all this stuff. Jay, tell us a little bit about this stuff. And right before you get into that, I have a saying: "He who controls the buyers controls the market." What
Boom.
would you say to that, Jay?
100% agree with that, man. 100%. If you got the buyers are the ones who dictate the market, right? So let me give you an example of that. I can have a property for sale I could ask, let's say the neighborhood is going for quarter of a million, 250,000, right? And I want 500,000, right? If my buyer is only willing to pay 100, guess who controls the market? The buyer. The property is only worth what the buyer is willing to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean?
Yep,
So if you have a property, you think you got the Taj Mahal, and nobody's making offers, that should tell you something. The buyers control the market. Without
I
buyers, you
agree.
can't make deals, and what you have is only worth what somebody's willing to pay. So without buyers, there's no market.
There's no market.
I
If
agree
there's
with
no
that,
market,
man. So that's why you find your buyers first. you know?
we got this partnerships profit. Jay, give us a little overview of that thing, brother, and tell us
Yeah.
what they can
So
expect.
in the partnership profits program, what I do is I uh first and foremost show you how to build out your foundation of what you're trying to accomplish in the business. The very first thing we're going to do is talk about the differences between starting as a wholesaler or uh, a joint venture partner. And here's the deal with that. If you're wholesaling, that's fine. If you're joint venturing, that's fine. You got to kind of pick your poison. When I was bodybuilding years ago, I did natural bodybuilding. Did you know I was Mr. New York City, man?
Well, your arms are bigger than my legs. I figured you were Mister Something.
Yeah, I was Mr. New York City, man, years ago. But
Wow.
um, yeah, it's crazy, man. Um, but my trainer used to say, pick your poison. And he was old school. He said, pick your poison. And I meant pick the weight that you want, but stick to it, right? So pick your poison with where you want to start. I'm not saying that you have to stick to it, but get really good at one thing and then add things to it. Right. So do you want to find the deals and then let other people sell them? That's kind of the position that I took because we were already getting deals. I just didn't want to sell them. So I let a bunch of other people sell them for me. Or do you want to start with the buyers? That depends on your financial circumstances as well, right? So do you have the money to market? Do you have the time to find deals? If not, focus on finding the buyers. And once you find the buyers, the easy part is going out and find, especially right now, everybody's trying to sell a deal because they can't.
Say
Right?
it again, Jada. Easy. I like to think of this as meat, sharks in a bucket. Like if you just drop the piece of meat in there, they're gonna tear it up. I mean, the
Hey, it's
buyers are
like going
always
fishing.
looking.
It's like going fishing, man. If you go to the right part of the lake, all the fish are gonna bite. You go to another part, you might get a few nibbles, right? So real estate to me is like having the bait. Your bait is the buyer. You drop it in, and all the fish are coming, right? Uh, Same exact concept with real estate. You find the buyers, you have the right deal, the buyers are gonna bite. If you
Yeah.
focus on the buyers end, you don't have the marketing budget. You don't have the all of the other stuff. What you do have is the networking part, where you're meeting more people who uh, are in a position to buy, and you're just plugging them in. You're playing the middleman, just like you would with a wholesale deal, but you're doing it from a buyer's aspect. That's all. You know what I mean?
So in the
So I show
partnership,
you.
good,
Mhm.
good.
So I show you how to do that immediately, and then I go into the nuances of how do you structure deals if you wanted to go the wholesale route from the seller's end, or how do you go out and find the buyers? Where do you find the buyers? There's really only two places I focus on finding a tremendous amount of buyers, and I show you exactly how to do that. Now here's the deal: you might have, like us, we have thousands of buyers on our buyers list, to be honest. But how many people would you say you do business with when you're wholesaling, Chris, when you're selling properties?
I mean, at this stage, I would say under 10, but man, I mean under
It's true.
10 to 20 people. Man.
We do business with 3 to 5, man, that will buy everything from us. When you find a solid buyer, or you find a solid couple of buyers, you could build a multi-million-dollar business off of that.
Mhm.
Right? So you don't have to go out there and get a huge buyers list and all this other nonsense. You just have to find 3 to 5 even one effective buyer who's going to buy everything from you. And you never know where that relationship can go as well. So I show you exactly how to do that, what agreements you need. I'll provide you with our agreements, partnership agreements, and contracts and things like that, and then walk you through the entire process of getting it closed. So that's basically what this program is. You can literally get through it in a few hours and be out there tomorrow, Saturday, and start cutting your teeth in this thing.
Wow, that is so cool. I know this is Black Friday block party, y'all. I'm gonna keep going, but if you're ready to get started, since it's 80 something percent off, Jay, and I want to say I forgot to tell you thank you
Thank
for
you, bro.
giving my roundup homies an opportunity to work with you, brother.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you, man. But check it out in the description box right there. 80, what is it, 84%? Something we
Yes,
chose
something
some crazy
stupid.
number.
Use the roundup
84%
code.
off,
Yeah.
and I'm doing this for my homie Chris. So and a roundup homies. And let's get to it, man. Let's get this, let's get to the bag, let's get to the money.
So there's
All
a
right.
code in the video description, y'all. Use the code roundup. You got to use that so you can get 80,
All
80 whatever
caps.
percent off. Yeah, all caps. It comes right in automatically.
Perfect.
It's gonna walk you step by step. Is this called co-wholesaling, Jay? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, co-wholesaling. They call it joint venturing. I call it partnership profits. You're literally creating partnerships. And the reason why I call it that is because you never know where those partnerships can take you. For example, you could create a buyer's relationship, and from your buyers, I've done this plenty of times, I'm sure you have as well, create private money relationships from your buyer. Who's buying? Who's your buyer buying properties with, like using their funds? Who are they using to fund their deals? Build a relationship. Hey, can you plug me in with that person?
Mhm.
And so on and so forth. You literally create huge partnerships with the right people that will change your life.
You never know where that stuff's going to go because some wholesalers are actually investors too. I mean,
That's
they're
right.
actually acquiring real estate and holding on real estate.
My first private money investor was a real estate investor who owned a title company,
Get out of
right?
here.
So, I mean, just having access, just building the relationships. And I could have went to her and she would have bought anything that I put out because I knew exactly what she wanted. Knowing
Hmm.
those four key things that we already talked about. So when you find good buyers and you find the right type of wholesaler, which we're going to cover in that program, that wholesaler will understand exactly what you want in order for y'all to make some money together.
Sweet. So Vincent, one of our members, who wants to know, what do you have for long-term investing, Jay? Could this be applied for that too?
This is a long-term play for quick cash. If you have long-term aspirations, I got, creative finance strategies and things like that. But really, I'll be honest, Chris, man, my coaching program, I cover everything.
I got
I'm
you.
not, I'm not trying to throw a, I'm not trying to throw any
All
bones or
things,
anything like that, but you understand what I mean.
all things. This is not all things. Well, this is more for fast to get the cash flow needs. I understand in real estate. Let me ask you. I feel like there's these two wheels, right? You got your wealth building aspect, and then you got
Yep.
the cash, the income aspect. In one or the other. So this is for the income
You
aspect.
need the income, the active income, in order to create the passive. So this is a active income play that's going to help you get your money up in order to be able to create the passive, the wealth building phase for yourself. Long
Gotcha.
term play. I'm honestly going to say, you want to start looking at passive income,
Got to hold them.
producing properties.
Got to hold them. Hood handyman, thank you for your super sticker, my brother. Thanks for that love offering, man. So Jay, they can go through this, and I know a lot of us. I want to ask you. People are nervous about making offers, and if
Mhm.
you don't see the link, just refresh your screen. It's in the video description. From my perspective, it is a skill set to be able to negotiate, talk to sellers,
It is.
get the price down. Does this course? We're not
Teaches you
necessarily
all
teaching
that.
how to do all
It
that stuff, or we are.
really, I believe that everybody who's in real estate or any type of anything that has to do with sales,
Mhm.
you're basically a salesman, right? A salesperson. I hate to say it like that, but people don't like to label themselves as salespeople. But
I am.
everybody's a salesperson,
I'm a salesman.
right? So at the end of the day, if you know what to say, um, meaning you have the right script, you'll be able to get all the deals you want. It's just you got to understand the art of persuasion. You got to know how to persuade people, talk to them, right? You got to understand the art of pulling information out of people in order for them to feel comfortable with you, which is part of persuasion as well. But ultimately, once you understand persuasion and you understand that any type of field you're in, especially real estate, you're in sales, you got to have a script, right? And to me, and maybe I'm not sure. I'm sure you had one as well. I kind of know my script like the back of my hand. I wrote it 20 years ago. I still use the same one, right? But
Wow.
my whole point is it's not necessarily a script. I understand what I'm trying to extract from people so I can have that conversation with them. Every highly qualified or high uh, paid salesperson has a script. Believe it. I used to work on Wall Street. I know this for a fact.
Every company too.
Every company has a script. Even all the way boiling down to your private money investors that you meet. You got to have an elevator pitch. That's a sales script. Everything is a sales script, right? So the more you understand your script, the better you will be at talking to people, the more deals you're going to get. So you got to understand you don't have to use a script word for word verbatim. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is understand what you're trying to extract from people and then just pull the information. Talk to people the way you would talk to your best friend, right? Talk to them, be yourself, and the more you understand that people don't buy what you're selling, they buy you as a person, right? Which will
Yep.
allow you to invest more of your personality into the conversation, then the nervousness will go away for you and you just talk to them and extract the information. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what you want to do, man. So
So
you
go ahead.
so there's 5 modules in this course, man. I'm
Okay.
looking at this right here. First module we cover just getting started, getting everything set up. Second module is finding the deals. The third module is controlling the deals. Then we create the partnerships in the fourth module. Then the fifth module is closing the deal. So it's a 5 module course. Like I said, you could get through this in maybe 5 or 6 hours. You have all the documents you need in this thing. And it's, you implement this, is going to crush. I'm telling you right now, especially right now in this market.
Roundup, if you're just joining us, make sure we're here with my friend Jamel Gibbs going over his partnership profits formula. He's got a system to show you how to go out there and partner up with people, and don't be scared of this stuff. And when I was coming up, Jay, in 2004, everybody was preaching against partnerships. Like, you do this by yourself. Don't get it. Like, I'm like, did you hear the same thing back in the early 2000s?
I did, man, but I never really surrounded myself with noisemakers, man. So,
Or even
you know,
trainers were saying.
yeah, even trainers, man. There's some trainers that are noisemakers, man. So,
Ooh,
me,
man,
I'm pretty private, man. So,
you are.
and I'm pretty, I like to stay to myself, man. So, and that way, I already know the way I think. Most people don't think that way. I'm a, I'm a winner all the way through. You can't tell me I'm not going to do something because I'm going to get it done, right? That's just my mindset. Um, so for me, I try to stay away from majority of the people because people don't think like that, and I don't want that to poison the way I think.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's true.
So that's why I strategically create the right partnerships.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um,
That's deep.
so with the right partnerships, I know that they think the way I think. If you find somebody else that's winning, I've seen people winning and it's still negative.
Hmm.
you know, so that means that if they were positive, they will be winning even more. So but just having the right partnerships, just understanding where you are in your process, right? Just use, I don't want to say using people, but using partnerships to be able to create funds that you need for your business and then kind of take it from there.
Gotcha. So on the partnership, on your aspect, are they making offers on houses as well, or more dealing with buyers, or both in this actual
I teach
training model?
both sides of it, both sides of the fence. So on one aspect in module 2, you can see I said, we talk about finding the deals. So if you're focused on finding the deals, you'll learn how to do it in that module. If you're focused on finding the buyers, you learn that in module 4. And you kind of, I explain it really well, and really, really simple in this program, to where anybody could take this information and really be able to grow with it.
So we could do buyers or sellers.
Buyers or sellers, it just, like I said, you just pick where you pick your poison, pick where you want to start, and then once you get started, go all in.
I'm just thinking, for me, I'm just like, I would much rather deal with buy. I'm just like,
Yeah,
imagine
I
10
agree.
Chris Haskins. I'm like, it would be so easy. I look at the house, I write a check. I'm not even thinking about home inspection, appraisal, realtor, none of that stuff.
None of
I
that
mean, it
stuff.
happens in 30 minutes.
Yeah, just let me just go pick up my check, find a buyer. Hey, you interested in this property? Okay, here's the lockbox. Okay, um, you want to make an offer? Okay, when's the closing?
Gotcha. I know you mentioned documents. I want to make sure I'm clear with my roundup, homies, because I want to make sure that if we're finding buyers, are you going to show us how to link up that seller? So, and with
Yep.
the wholesaler, we're going to work with them, because that's real estate speaks with black ink on white paper.
So the real secret to that, honestly, man, your wholesaler is going to sign an agreement with the seller of the property, right? you're going to sign a joint venture agreement with your wholesaler before
Mm,
you show the property to your buyer.
got it.
And
Got it.
then that allows you have something in black and white on paper stating that if my buyer buys this, you can't try to go around my back
Right.
because then I'm going to
No.
fine you.
Mhm.
um, and then you're going to allow the wholesaler, and if the wholesaler's smart, they're not going to try to shoot you in the foot, try to, they want to do more business with you, right?
Mhm.
So you're going to have the wholesaler from that point kind of take over things, and you keep in touch with your buyer and the wholesaler until it closes.
Jay, I found the majority of businessmen, the majority, wholesalers, investors, operate with pretty good
Yeah,
integrity.
absolutely, man. But
Majority.
you have some that will try to. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you ain't gonna have to worry about this. But there's a few out there, man, a few bad apples, and I'm trying to weed those guys out. So
Yeah. Yeah. So we're with Jamel Gibbs, guys. I've had you here. Wow, it's been 40 minutes already, round up. So
can't
his
believe it, man.
his partnership profits training course is 84% off. Use the coupon code roundup. It's in the video description. Get started tonight. This is the beginning of the Black Friday block party. Jamel Gibbs, real estate investor extraordinaire. Get your questions in the chat, y'all. Somebody did ask
Yeah,
something.
man. I'm happy to answer some questions. I'm always for that.
Somebody's real crypto. Got 100K in credit. Need some partnerships. Okay, cool. Good for you. Thank you for your love offering, my brother. Uh, Kenny D, how do you get access to funding? That's a number one question. How much have you heard that, Jamel?
Oh man, forget about it. Really, and let me, Kenny D, let me paint the picture for you with this. Funding is not hard to get when you find the right deal, right? But also, funding will change your life. It'll take you. Wholesaling is a hustle. Wholesaling is a job to me. Do you agree with that, Chris?
It is a job, full time too.
Wholesaling is a job, right? When you start getting access to money, it changes the dynamic of everything for you, right? So, with that being said, once you find the deal, if it's a good deal, a truly a good deal, the money will come. You could talk
Bona
to
fide.
other wholesalers. You could talk to, there's a lot of different ways to get funding. So you got hard money lenders, you got the seller, right, where you can use owner finance, subject to. You can use uh, private money. Your best friend might have 100. Let me give you an example. I had a friend just this year. I don't really need his money. I don't at all, actually. Um, but he said, I got 100 grand and I'd like to invest this money somewhere. I don't know what to do with it. I had a rental property. I was looking to refinance. I was about to start the refinance process. I said, you know what? Rather than me refinancing, let me get my homie 5 grand. He put up $100,000. I'll pay him the 5 grand when I cash him out of the property, and I just give him $500 a month. The rent is 1,000, so I give him half of it. Right?
Wow.
I want him to make money. Guess what? I thought about him. He's making 5 grand plus $500 a month. It's a no-brainer deal. The house is worth close to 200 grand. I own it as a rental. I didn't put up any money out of pocket. He gets his
Wow.
$500 a month. He's not making that with the money sitting in the bank at all.
He's
Plus another,
losing that
he's
money.
losing
Actually.
money, right? And I take care of him financially, right? Guess what he's gonna do when there's another deal that comes around and I cash him out of this property? He's like, man, I just made all this money on this one. Let me do it again. So he's gonna roll that money back in. So just talking to people. Look, he took out an SBA loan from a barbershop because I used to work with him in a barbershop over 20 years ago. Um, he took out the SBA loan for his barbershop, didn't know what to do with the money. So he invested it.
That's cool, man.
Everybody has access to something, right?
That's
Talk to
right.
people. If you prove yourself, the reason he trusted me is because I'm an expert at what I do. And he was ready to just throw. Look, I had somebody 2 days ago say, look, I got 30 grand. I don't know what to do with it. I said, let's have this. I said, come right and step into my office.
But you
right?
really are not, you're not a shyster. You really are
No,
educating
no,
people and
I'm
do. I mean, you're
educating them, and I
really
and I and I basically, I'll tell them, look, you have the opportunity to invest with me if you want. Let's see what we can make happen. And that's basically what we do, man. We create win-win-win situations for everybody involved. If you try to take advantage of people, you will not be in business long. If you look out for people, there's a reason why Chris and I have been in the business collectively for over 40 years,
wow.
right? Collectively. How
God.
long you been around? I've been 21 years here.
18, Jay. I feel like I'm starting to turn into Ron LeGrand, dog. I mean,
So collectively, man, we about 40 years in the business, right? There's a reason for that. You look out for people. You look out for people, they will look out for you. And that's where the networking part comes into play. So finding the money is easy, right? There's companies out, hard money lenders. They're gonna,
regular banks,
right?
construction loans.
Regular bank. If you got enough money to buy a piece of land, let me give you guys some game. You got enough money to buy a piece of land. Let's say you purchase a plot of land for $10,000, right? What's the average land you're purchasing right now, Chris? 25, 30 grand?
No, we up. It's no land here in the Tidewater area of
So it's
Virginia,
gonna be
so we
higher. Yeah.
50,000 up. Yeah, yeah.
So even 50 grand, right? But you're still buying it at a discount,
Oh yeah, you got it. I don't know way you can do that.
right? So let's say you buy a $50,000 plot of land that's worth 80. You now have your down payment for a new construction project. Most people don't even understand that, right? So if you find somebody to lend you $50,000 on that land, right? It could be through a credit line. Find somebody with good credit and have them go get some credit lines if you don't have it, and partner with them on it, right? Cut
Sweet.
people in. But now when you go to the bank, they have to give you the value of the land. So if it's an $80,000 plot of land, they're going to give you the value of that land and lend you the money based on that new value that's going to allow you to get the new construction loan from them. So
No
you
way.
don't have to come up with a 20%. You don't have to, come up with all this extra stuff. They're going to give you 100% of the funding to be able to build the house because you own the land, which plays as your down payment.
Sweet.
You know what I mean? Is that what you're finding as well?
We've done all time. I haven't used the bank. It's been so long, Jay. But yeah,
Same here.
I mean, I don't even know what it's like to do that. We do. We're building our personal house yet now, that's how we did that. So
Mhm. Yeah, man. That's how it works. If you have, right now, most hard money lenders are lending 65 to 70 cents on a dollar. It used to be a little higher than that, but the market is changing, right? That's how you know when the market is changing, when hard money lenders start to drop how much they're going to give you. So now, you might see a couple here at 65%, a couple at 70%, right? That means they'll give you up to the value of that property all in 65 cents on the dollar. So if it's a $200,000 home, they're going to give you 65% of that. If you can work your numbers to where your purchase price, your closing cost, your rehab cost, and everything falls within that 65%, you got to deal with $0 out of pocket. That's how it works, right?
and Jay, if they can't get it at that number, is it even a deal anyway? I mean,
Exactly. It's not really. I mean, hard money lenders purposely force you to get deals. They won't lend money on a deal unless it's a good deal and you're going to be profitable. So you should appreciate the fact that they're looking at your deal. If they don't lend you money on it, it wasn't a deal, and you're
yeah,
probably going to be underwater on that thing. If they lend you money on it, you're going to make some money on it.
people
All
get
right.
mad at hard
So
money lenders. I don't know why. I'm like, they're protecting you.
yeah,
They want you to make
exactly.
money.
Same thing with private money. Same thing with using the seller. Same thing with going to the, regular banks. Be smart about what you do. And, if you understand what a deal is and you know how to put it together, which this course will show you, at the end of the day, you're gonna win. The money will come. So I hope that answers your question.
Realm of Crypto says, what do you think of the learning in the course with the VA and letting the VA look for the buyers or sellers for you?
What do you
That
think
takes
of
another
learning
level.
the course with a virtual assistant? I think there's nothing wrong with that, but I also think that you should really understand what you're doing before you hire a virtual assistant. That's just my personal, everybody has a certain way of doing things. I believe that you should understand the nuances of what you need to get done. Because if you ever have to hire that, if you ever have to fire that virtual assistant,
Gotta pick up quick,
you got you gotta know what you're doing to be able to
quick.
train somebody else in order for you to be able to keep the same amount of income coming in. So I would never build a business based on the virtual assistant learning everything. I'm not sure if that's where you're going with it, but I would learn it. I would I would learn it well enough to where I can teach it to the virtual assistant and then kind of take it from there.
Sweet. Jay, it's been an honor with you, my brother. We had you for 50
Likewise,
minutes.
man.
Lux and Roundup. Go to the video description. It's 84% off. It usually sells this, and it's not even a bunch of money. It's like a less than a tank of gas to invest in your future. Listen, we're getting to, I call it Santa Claus money.
Mm-hmm.
This time of year, people say real estate slows down. I just
It
don't
picks up.
agree with that.
No,
I don't agree with that.
every December. I make the most money I've made out of every month, every year, every December, and
Isn't this
that's in
so?
real estate.
Is it because of Santa Claus money, Jay, or what?
No, it's just people. Here's my
Everybody want
reasoning
that
behind
money.
it. My
Good.
my reasoning is people they do exactly what you just said. They start slowing down because they don't want to bother, quote unquote, bother people during this time of the year. So what do? Other investors slow down, they get into the holiday mode and all of that stuff. I'm picking it up and we crush it.
When I talk to sellers, it's like if you tell them you can close before Christmas, man, they love you. They
More
love
money
you.
in their pockets, man.
Yeah, they're looking for that Christmas money, y'all. So don't believe the media. They want that Christmas. We're buying two right now, man. I mean, all the seller wants to know, are you closing before Christmas? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, man. They want that money, so
Vincent, hey, one of our members, he's a buyer. How do I contact wholesalers for long-term real estate opportunities, Jay? Because he could buy them right from the wholesaler.
yeah, start by go on Facebook, man. Just join some of these Facebook groups that's in your local market and just let them know, look, I'm a buyer, I'm looking for some rental properties.
Mm-hmm.
Educate yourself because there's some, you got to know what a deal is.
Yep.
And then from there, man, call up them We Buy Houses signs. Those guys are not really buyers, they're
Wholesalers.
wholesalers.
Yeah, real buyers is out buying. We ain't even.
That's right. So start there, man. And also, I wouldn't play I wouldn't be going to a realtor at this point. Not saying, I do a lot of business with realtors. So if I used to be a real estate broker myself.
Wow.
But I don't look for on-market properties right now. Going direct to seller is really where it's at. And the best way to go direct to seller, if you don't want to do it yourself, is go through a wholesaler. You know what I mean? So look for other wholesalers that are putting out good deals and you'll be fine.
Vincent, don't forget you got access to my Geek Squad too to get leads, and we can go over that in our call. He's in our inner circle. We do a lot of internet marketing stuff too. I'm just, I'm lazy, Jay. I don't want to be doing a lot. I want to just write a check and figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, that's called lazy man. This is definitely lazy man's investing, bro. Real estate is a lazy man income. I'm gonna tell you that.
They need to get that money to pay that tax year, IRS. That's right.
Yep.
Hood Handyman does. Jay, do you have a Facebook, Twitter, YouTube handle? Yeah, that's right.
At Jamel Gibbs, at Jamel Gibbs, at Jamel Gibbs. All
Jay's
of them.
got 50,000. How many followers you got on YouTube?
We're approaching, let's see, 50.
A lot.
Should be approaching 57,000 now.
So Jay calls me up. He's like, Chris, man, darn, I'm like, Jay, just think about it. You got more people that you could fit in a stadium. You are helping people, brother.
I guess I'll just think big, man. That's all. I want to help more people,
That's true. All right, Roundup. So the code is right there. The link's in the video description. Get rocking and rolling if you're just starting out, if you don't want to spend a lot of money regarding looking for deals, because we spend thousands a month on leads, advertising, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to, are you doing any negotiation on this at all, Jay, with sellers?
If we're taking a buyer's approach, no.
Okay.
Really, that's we're just kind of presenting the opportunity with the wholesaler of what our buyer wants to pay. So I mean,
there is no negotiation. You don't got to negotiate with that.
You don't have to do nothing, man. You just tell them what your buyer is willing to pay, and that's it.
That's deep. There is no, yeah. I'm like, I just feel like it's so easy dealing with investors, true investors. I mean, we're
Yeah.
like, what's the number? Okay, it ain't that. I need to be this. Okay, I'll talk to you later. I mean, there's really not a lot of talking.
Hmm. Not at all. Not at all, man. It's $47 realm of crypto. The two, uh, the other price, it was actually a typo.
Oh yeah,
It's
okay.
47.
It's $47, man. You got nothing but a tank of gas, y'all. So look, thank you for hanging out with us. We got different. I got all my homies coming on this week. Jamel, final thoughts you want to leave from our roundup fam that are getting started and want to do this partnership stuff?
Yeah,
Don't be
man.
scared of partnerships.
It's been a pleasure, man. Hanging out with you is always a pleasure, bro. But for those of you looking to get started in real estate, you know, this is going to be your lowest barrier of entry. That's going to allow you to really create some movement. If you're strapped for cash, if you're not in a financial position to make bigger moves, start here, build your cash up, and then take that cash to do something else. But you got to get started, right?
Yeah.
You got to do something. If you don't do it, it'll never happen. So take massive action if you want massive results.
But my thing is right now, shouldn't, well, I mean, you're the expert. Should we be preparing for 2023 now? So wait until
I
we get in
started,
the year?
I'll be honest, man. I started preparing. Every year I prepare for the next year in September so I can build the momentum that I need in order to be able to go into the next year, and then I start the year off with a bang. Every year I do that, right? So I think that you need to plan ahead. Do you need? I mean, we're past September at this point, so the earlier you get to it, the better. Start building the momentum now. Don't get lazy during this time of the year. Do what you got to
Right.
do, and
Right.
2023 could be your best year ever. But
I
you
mean,
gotta get started.
Jay, I got one more thing, and I'm gonna let you go. I was told when I was starting out, you have to learn how to make money without money before you can make money with money. Is that true
Boom.
for you too?
Oh man, I started off with $250 in my name, bro. 21 years old, living in the projects. I was broke.
Wow.
I was a millionaire on paper by the time I was 25.
You're exceptional now. I'm not everybody's gonna do that.
No, they're not. But I mean, you just look. I started off with nothing. Um,
Wow, man.
just a little bit of a lot of bit of drive and hustle, man. That's why I'm a huge advocate of telling people just do it, man. I didn't have a coach, right? I had to figure out they didn't have coaches back then like they have today,
Mm-mm.
right?
No
So
internet either. I
no
mean, the internet
internet
was
either,
just
man.
starting.
My they didn't even have. So my CRM was an Excel spreadsheet
No doubt. Me
back
too.
then. You know what I mean? So I started off writing stuff on paper and then transition. I learned how to use Excel spreadsheet. Then I learned how to build a website. I did everything myself. First 5 years, I told you, right? But my point is, I started with nothing. I didn't have the money to put out, and I learned how to do it by using other resources. They didn't call it co-wholesaling back then. I was just I was networking,
Figuring it
right?
out.
Wholesaling wasn't even people were doing it, but they didn't call it wholesaling.
Didn't have a term.
They didn't have a term for it till like 05, 06.
That's something, right?
You know what I mean?
It was
But
called it was called assigning your contract back then.
yeah, that's all it was, man.
Signing a
And
contract.
at the end of the day, you know, we started with nothing. You guys have access to everything.
Everything. And they still complaining.
There's no excuse, man.
Jay, look at this. Dig says, "What's good, Jay? I remember when I was in contact with you in 2012. I regret the decision not to sign up. I spent 8 years in the feds right after. Wow. Trying to
Wow,
do
bro.
things his way.
Mm.
Oh, man. I'm glad you made it, bro.
I'm glad you back home, man. But we could,
No doubt.
let's make this move. Let's do it.
2023 is coming fast, y'all. So I know what I'm doing. I'm getting trained up. I'm educating myself all on digital currency stuff and all that. Everything is just gonna, from my perspective,
Explode.
things, yeah, explode. I'm just like, Jay, you know what? I feel like you gotta follow what the people are doing, man. The
Yep.
dominant society.
Yep.
And I'm like, if you ain't on board, man, you're gonna get left behind.
Yep. Absolutely, man. But it's out here for everybody. There's enough money on it. Think about this for a minute. There's
Yeah.
what 8 billion people on Earth, right? The top 1% owns how much of that? Literally 99% of the wealth, right?
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. but there's trillions and trillions of dollars. There's enough money out here for everybody if you're willing to go and get it. And
Gotta
the
go get it.
problem is there's a reason why there's a 90-10. 90% of people are not willing to go and get it.
Mm. It's not the
They might
easy thing.
say that they want to, but they're not really wanting to go get it. The only way to go get it is to do it. And people think too much. And when you think too much, you think yourself out of situations. You think yourself into comfort. Comfort is not going to pay the bills. You know what's going to pay the bills? Action. Action pays the bills. Forget about comfort.
Wow.
So you got to do what you got to do. And the only reason to do what you got to do is to have a big enough reason why. See, this is a spiral thing. I could talk about this all day long.
You can go. I love listening to you, man. Go.
Honestly, when you have a big enough reason why, this is how you know you have a big enough reason why, Chris. When it's not about you, it's about somebody else. You know why? Because you can let yourself down, right? I could set a goal, and if it's about me, hey, I want to make $1 million. As soon as I get a little comfortable, oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. And that's why everybody's going to get started tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes.
Never
right?
comes.
But when it's about somebody else and you throw somebody else on your back, your kids, your family, your wife, your mother who you're trying to buy a house for,
Community.
Community. When it's about somebody else and you throw that on your shoulders and you throw that on you can't let other people down, but you can let yourself down. So when you are not able to let other people down and everybody's looking at you and they're relying on you, and you become that guy that they're looking to, you're almost like the guy that's going to get them out. That responsibility carries you into doing what you be surprised, unbelievable things. I remember when I was like I told you, I started when I was 21. I didn't make my first check in real estate till I was 22. I made $1,500. It took me 13 months. My next check was
fast.
13 months to get my first check, man. My next check after that was $48,000. I remember showing that check to my mother. My mother passed back in 2017 from cancer, but I remember showing that check to my mother, and it was more money in one check than her and my father made collectively in one whole year. I did it in a month.
Wow.
But it didn't really take a month, right? They said it takes 20 years to become an overnight success. In that case, it took me 15 months to become a $48,000 success.
Wow.
But I got the check in 1 month, right? So again, man, when you look at things and you got other people relying on you, and you're able to show these checks, like I was able to show to my mother, people start to look at you as that person that's going to be able to carry them out. And you throw the weight of the world on your shoulders, it will change your life. Trust me. You do
right?
Unbelievable things, man. Incredible things.
It's an honor to have it.
Absolutely, man. This is why we breathe, man, is to take care of our people,
Yeah. It's an honor when you get that. I don't think that kind of shows up. Well, let me add, it showed up for me. It was like I was doing, and I started looking around like, holy cow, all my people, it was almost, I didn't set out to do it. It was like, I just did it.
Yeah, that's right, man. And you don't think about it. And that kind of leads into this as well, man. And we just giving game at this point, right? So, that kind of leads me to this, man. It's like, I think that a lot of people are scared, right? They're scared of the fear of the unknown is what they call it, right? I think fear of the unknown goes out the window when you're just doing it and there's no reason. Like when I was 21 and I'm calling up sellers and I never did it before in my life, I wasn't thinking about being scared. I'm thinking about getting a deal because I got to take care of the people that's looking at me as that guy. You know what I mean? So the fear goes out of the window when you have a big enough goal, a big enough reason why, and people are relying on you. You don't think about being scared. You just get it done.
You can't be scared.
And you figure it out. You fail forward, man. Fail forward. You can't be scared. Scared money.
Yeah, can't you? I mean, scared means you won't eat dinner tonight. I mean,
yeah, that's right, man. So I just, that's an interesting concept. I always subscribe to. I think a lot, man, and I think about why did I become successful? versus, I could have done a lot of different things, man. Why did I become successful? And people ask me this stuff, and it forces me to think about it. These are some of the principles that I've lived by that allowed me to do what I was able to do throughout my life.
You just did them though. It wasn't like you're
Just
like,
did it, man.
do this.
I didn't understand fear. I don't have any fear, man. I just get it done.
When you say successful, Jay, I want my rounded up homies to know you're massively successful. It's not like just
I
one
like
little
to be
step.
humble, man. Come on, bro.
I know I can. You can, but I don't have to be. So roundup, it's been an honor. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Much love to everybody here. Jamel, man, I don't get to talk to you much. You're just so busy, so I get to get on this thing with you. Get signed up. It's in the video description. The Black Friday special will end in about a week. It's running all the way for the whole week. So take action now. Don't think about it. Stop thinking so much. I know I spend thousands of dollars on coaching and training. I tell myself, Chris, stop thinking, man. Buy it, look at it, so. Does that work for you too? I'm like, the more you think about it, like, I ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, that is exactly what we were just talking about, right? If you think too much, you're gonna think yourself out of it. Don't think, just do it, man, and you'd be surprised what that one decision to do for your life.
Get over it. Okay, y'all, make sure you take a second to subscribe to the channel. Share this stuff with other investors that are getting started or in the game and don't know how to find deals or don't have buyers. He who controls the buyers controls the market. Jamel Gibbs, thank you, my brother.
It's a pleasure, man. I appreciate you.
So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe or you're on our email list for the Black Friday block party. We're going to continue every day with different things. Multifamily, I got an Instagram trainer, Airbnb, all that stuff coming up throughout the next 5 days. Talk to you soon, roundup homies. Peace.